Now, to get more details on this, we are being joined by Riaz Ahmad, who is the executive editor at Dakar Tribune, live from Dakar. Welcome to the broadcast, sir. Now, elections in Bangladesh are generally marred with violence. Now, in the latest, a local Awami League leader was found dead with stab wounds near a polling centre this morning. How do you see the polls panning out, given the scale of arson and violence in Bangladesh?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here this morning. Now afternoon almost, actually. So the election has halfway through by now, and the ballot started at 8 a.m. in the morning. So one aspect of this election is it is widely anticipated that it's going to be a low turnout voting. But of course, Bangladesh election rules does not made any parameter for that how many percentage of voters have to turn up. But why this is so is basically because of two different type of calls by the two sides in Bangladesh's perennial political divide. One calling upon the voters to come in their good numbers and join the election and exercise their franchise, while, as you mentioned already, the BNP, one of the largest political party and the main opposition, which has governed this country in the past for several times also, they boycotted this election and also called upon the voters not to go for this election, which they consider a farcical one. And people in this country, particularly 170 million people, and 119 million of them are voters, eligible voters, and they are caught basically in the middle of a political crossfire where the two main political parties of the country, Awami League and BNP, are giving call for two different causes. One for exercising votes, the other for not to go to the polling centers. And as you rightly mentioned, in the run up to to today's election, over the last 2 months or so, there has been many hartal calls, the general strike, and also road blockades and things like that. And during those particular opposition called programs, there were incidents of arsons, there were incidents of actually arsons in train, buses, and public transport and things like that. That actually also have some impact in the voters' mind. There is a certain degree of fear factors there. Though, as you also mentioned, that 800,000 law enforcing agency members composed of different forces that also include Bangladesh Armed Forces and police and BGB, the Border Patrol team, and things like that. So, that kind of preparations are there. But there is another important factor. I will conclude here by saying that factor. That is, when voters will go to a polling center, they will be naturally looking for some options to choose from. This is one election where there is a very little option for a voter to choose from, because largely it is Awami League official nominees versus they are pitting their official against some of the independents, and a large number of independent candidates who again are also the local leaders of the ruling of.
Absolutely, Raz. Now, how do you assess the role of over 100 foreign observers who are present at different polling booths across the country?
Yeah, that's very important, because always the poll observers, when we see an election being held as citizen of that country, we are in the middle of the things already, and we also take certain things for granted. Some aspects of it, our political, cultural aspects are there, and things like that. So when someone from abroad come as part of different poll observer mission, and also the local poll observers, they play a very vital role. And so far, since this morning, I have heard some of them speaking to the media, including our news reporters also, that they found that, of course, they cannot do all 42,000 voting centers, but the number of voting centers, some of the polling booths that they visited, they found some of the features they mentioned about is it was largely peaceful, but with very low turnout of voters.
Yes.
And they think that it's too early to say, it's too early to comment at this point of time that what exactly manner this election is going to shape up ultimately. They will keep observing for next few hours as well.
Yes, absolutely. And as you've mentioned, while it is still early in the day, experts do predict that the voter turnout is likely to remain low due to those contrasting calls from the ruling and opposition parties.
Exactly. Due to the contrasting calls, and also, right at the moment, I can offer you an early indication about the percentage, because the Election Commission just half an hour ago, they said that so far, I mean, it will be, you can take it for 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. or 11:30, the first, if not the first half of the whole election day voting, but at least first 3 hours or so, the percentage nationwide was a little over 8%. 8. So, and but many candidates and their supporters are expecting in different polling booths that as the day progresses, this can be, the voter turnout can be higher, but still, I don't know what percentage ultimately it will. Definitely, it's going to be one of the lowest in the country's history of election.
Very interesting. Riaz, thank you very much for being with us on this broadcast and your valued insights.
Welcome.